if you were just intrigued with the title and you came to check out what's the content of the video, please do watch all the way to the end. And I'm sure you will find something really worthwhile. But for others who really understood when I said fool's choice are limiting beliefs, uh, in our life, many of us are stuck in this place where we think life is either this or it's that. Or we are like, I can only do this or I can do that, or I don't have any other way to approach this situation as compared to where I am. So either I quit or I continue to do what I'm doing, isn't it? Think about your own life where you are stuck in situations like this. Think about people around you where they exhibit similar behaviors. So, in our everyday life, there is a range of things that will happen. And I'll give you some examples so that I can relate to this. Because fool's choice is when we think that we only have two bad choices in life. We don't think that there is a third better choice. And then we choose out of one of those two bad choices. Many of us are doing this. Look around you. If you find a book that you have not read because you said, I will find the right time, the find right mood, and when I can read at length, I will read it. It's been lying there for months, maybe years now. Or there are so many people who pick up big books at every airport that they go to and they never read it. But imagine this, if you had just read one page a day, and what does it take to read one page a day? Maybe 5 minutes at most. You could have gone through that book. I mean, I'll confess this, I have thousands of books and I may not have read everything cover page to cover page. I may have read 50, 60% of those cover page to cover page. But for those, all the other ones that remain, I at least know what's the content of the book. I've gone through, flipped through the book. I've looked at all the diagrams. I've looked at the keynotes of each of the chapters. So I know what each of my books contain. Similarly, look at exercising. A lot of us know that we are unfit, and people know that they need to exercise, but say, "Oh, I don't have time to gym. I have very demanding work schedules. I have so much to travel. When do I do it?" At the same time, I also know of several people today who simply do 3 or 4 exercises at home morning and evening. They do a push-up, they do squats, they do sit-ups, and maybe 1 or 2 other stretches for certain parts of their body. And they just repeat that 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and they're really fit now because they've been doing that for about 6 months. Because in between, whenever they get time, they go out and take a small jog or do a little bit of cycling and swimming, and they're fine. And some of these people, I can tell you, they're doing about 100, 150 push-ups, similar sit-ups, similar squats, and some of them have put a bar at their home, and they're doing about 30, 40, 50 pull-ups at times now because they've been doing it for 6, 8, 12 months. Simple. You don't have to always hit the gym. Again, another third choice that I showed. So instead of finding a lot of time to read the book or the gym, these are people who are doing a little bit of action instead of just leaving it. Or look at those people who, at the end of the day, they say, "Oh, I have this very important meeting. I will get up early tomorrow and prepare, or maybe I will prepare on the way to office." But there are those other people who will say, "Okay, before I go to sleep, let me just summarize and put my thoughts on a paper." And they put 8, 10 bullet points of what they want to cover in the meeting. And while they sleep, it just simmers in their head. So instead of going to sleep with an incomplete task and having a disturbed sleep, or then sitting up all night and finishing the meeting, both which are bad choices, there are some who just put down the bullet points, go to sleep, it simmers in their head. When they wake up, they get a lot better result because they have slept over it, as they say, literally slept over this. So, and I can go on and on about aspects of relationships, and let me just cover this example. And it's a wonderful example. There are so many couples who say, "Oh, we have not been able to take a break together. We need a romantic outing, or we need a family outing so that we can have family quality time." And they go on for about 2 years, 3 years without being able to take a break, sometimes because of financial constraints, because they have EMIs, or sometimes because of lack of time or health, or not being able to match calendars because both partners are working, or the child has important elements of things in school. Think about this. Every week or every 2 weeks, if you were to just plan an evening outing together and do that regularly, quality time, some 5, 6 hours of go, watch a movie, have a lavish dinner, or do something else, or take a weekend off, or just quickly go somewhere. You don't have to take vacations for extended 7, 8 day periods all the time. Small doses could really help. So again, coming back to where I started, fool's choice is not the way to be. It cannot be this way or that way. When you're dealing with people, you cannot say my way or the highway. There has to be a third place. When in arguments, you can't continue to say I am right, you are wrong. There could be a third way. Both of you could be wrong. Both of you could be right. So in all areas of your life, I want you to really reflect and see where is it that you have a fool's choice path. There are many of us who need to do 10 different things in the day, and we say, oh, I don't have enough time for everything, so I'll focus on one or two. No, just give a little bit of time to everything. Some great thinkers today have propagated this idea that if you put in 5 minutes or 10 minutes into something over 365 days, see how much it multiplies into. And it's very true. If you put 5 or 10 minutes into something and somebody else who's not doing that, you are going to be way ahead of that person in about a year's time. Great thing to look at. So here's what you do. First, don't have the illusion of no other way. There is always a way. If you have the knowledge, if you have the willingness to look at it, and if you're willing to give a little bit of time and attention and get over your I won't say lethargy, but your inertia, get over your inertia to do it in absolutely the right way. Just start, just do a little bit there, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about building a lot of hustle into your life, a lot of busyness. No, that's not what I'm saying. This is about the important things of your life: your health, your finances, your family time, your personal time, your work, your learning, in all of these areas, right? So do not conclude that there is no other way. Look at this. Second thing, look at your own professional life. Where are you making fool's choices in your professional life? This is the only way I can build my career. Or either I keep quiet in my organization, or if I speak up, I will have unfair treatment, or I'll lose it. No, there could be a third way. Build consensus around something. Or I continue to do what I continue to do till I find a better option. No, you may upskill yourself. You may do so many other things that can help you with your career. You can become an influencer in your industry. So wherever you are looking at fool's choice in your professional life, also you need to look at solution. Here's one more thing I want to call out in the professional life. Many people in today's life are jamming all their expectations from their professional type, from a professional life. They want financial success also, they want growth also, they want recognition also, they want learning also, they want stimulus also, they want peace also, they want this also, that. Everything for professional life may not be. You can simply just go to work to get the work done, take your paycheck and come back. If there are other things that come your way, wonderful. Work for your growth. If you do the right things, you will definitely grow over a period of time. But don't put all your expectations into the one basket of your professional life. You can seek fulfillment, satisfaction, achievement in so many other areas, from your health to your hobbies, to your learning, to your family, to your child, if you have one, to your spouse and that relationship, or your parents, or society. You can do so much for the society. So spread out your satisfaction needs into multiple other areas. Don't just put it all on your career. That's again a very big fool's way to live. Again, don't have a fool's choice when it comes to personal life. Don't say I will get around to taking care of my relationships when I've achieved this goal, that goal. Don't bargain with your partners, your loved one, your parents, your family, saying that, look, let me get through this very tough year, then after that I will make time for you. See, there could be small periods of 2 weeks, few months, where you may say that, look, there's something very critical I need to focus, but this cannot go on for extended periods of time. Relationships, your future in those relationships cannot be at the mercy of your busyness and your time. It's a different thing if you're unwell. If it's a different thing if you are preparing for an exam for which you have very limited period of time. It's different if you are coming towards a closure of a very critical project, but that cannot be the story all the time. So remember, if you didn't have that career, if you didn't have that choice of work, and if your family was your only support system, they need to be there, right? So while you're attending to all of those other things, your family may disintegrate. So don't have that, these kind of fool's choices in your personal life, that I can only do this. Do small bits and quantities and take care of your relationship. Also, in the today's hustle and startup culture and social media culture, everybody wants to be an influencer or hustle, or start a side hustle, or start an entrepreneurial venture. You don't need to. Those are not the only choices of life. There are so many ways that you can build your career, build your capability, tons and tons of things to do. Deeply anchor yourself, gain the knowledge before you make fool's choices in all of these things. So, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, one, you need to be very self-aware of the kind of thinking and choices that you're making. So your own limiting acts are some things that you need to be aware of. And with that, you need to then gain the right kind of knowledge and the right kind of thinking, sometimes even the right kind of guidance from a spiritual guru, a coach, a mentor, a knowledgeable friend, a supportive family member, to reframe your choices. So once you understand the fool's choices that you're making, you need to reframe those choices and find a good choice. And the good choice may not be in between those two choices, maybe something very different, a very different paradigm. Create those third, fourth, fifth choices. I say this so many times to people in conversations that, look, if you don't have options in life, then you're going to be stuck at some point in time. You have to generate options and create options. And the first set of options comes here. It's in your mind that you create your first set of options. And I've given you so many real life examples of people who are reading a little, exercising a little, spending a little time with their family, spending a little time on music or writing or their hobbies, or creating a little bit more capability, breaking ice at the work with difficult managers or difficult stakeholders. Do little bit of thing. Make every day count. If you have to get ahead of your fool's choices, you have to make every day count. You may not realize that 365 days ahead, or 2 years ahead, or 3 years ahead, you may have a much brighter future because of that 5, 10, 15 minutes. Don't be in the despair. Don't fear the consequences. Don't have that emotional bias and not be moving. Don't feel that either I protect my current way of life or I'll have to quit it all. No, there could be other choices. Yes, it'll take a little bit of thinking, it'll take a little bit of knowledge, it'll need you to commit your time and be disciplined in what you are doing. Life is rarely a choice between the bad and the worse. Life is actually much easier than where it is if you stop getting worked up all the time. If you don't fill up a lot of expectations in your head and put a lot of restrictions on your choices. And this is typically how our funnels are. We have too many expectations, we hardly have any choices. That's why we end up making fool's choices. Change this. Rationalize your thinking. Become decent in your thinking about yourself, about others, and your life. And then spread the options out. Generate options. I'm sure you'll have a great life looking at some of these things.